Hello and welcome, I'm WION Castell and you're watching WION Wings. Let's take a look at the stories we have coming up on the show today. We bring you International Yoga Day celebrations from around the world, the French Armada Festival, Peru, our country in focus this week, and how ecotourism in mangroves can help Jakarta. Let's get started. Let's begin with International Yoga Day that was celebrated on Wednesday this week. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a yoga class at the UN headquarters in New York on his trip to the United States. There were also other events organized around the world. Originating in India, yoga is an age-old practice encompassing physical, mental and spiritual dimensions. Derived from Sanskrit, yoga signifies the harmonious union of body and consciousness and the connection between the two. Yoga is more than an ancient discipline practiced by Hindu sages. It is now one of India's most successful cultural exports. In the present day, yoga has taken on diverse forms and is embraced globally, steadily gaining popularity. Acknowledging its widespread appeal, the United Nations officially designated June 21st as the International Day of Yoga on December 11th, 2014. This significant day serves as a global platform to heighten awareness of the numerous advantages derived from the practice and aims to illuminate the transformative power of yoga on a worldwide scale. Prime Minister Modi managed to portray yoga as an all-ages, faiths and cultures practice while showing India's cultural reach. To promote and show how yoga is living and dynamic, Prime Minister Narendra Modi joined diplomats and dignitaries for a morning yoga session at the United Nations in New York. The spacious north lawn of the UN headquarters was filled with made in India yoga mats. Modi's event even broke a world record for the highest number of nationalities represented in a single yoga session. Across New Delhi, events were held to commemorate International Yoga Day as well. We are near Rashtrapati Bhavan and India Gate, as central as it gets in New Delhi. Today there is a special event organized on the lawns along Kartavya Path to celebrate International Yoga Day. It is one of the main locations for the celebration of Yoga Day in New Delhi, and we're going to take part in a yoga session and see how people celebrate Yoga Day here. I reached early and got a good spot, and thousands of others reached after, and it seems like the entire lawn is full of yogis. Before the yoga session begins, a speech is played by the Prime Minister as we sit on the lawn in front of Rashtrapati Bhavan. You've learned yoga for 5-6 years at this point?
Yes. My yoga journey started 2014.
So is there like a big demand for yoga also in Japan?
Yeah, demand is there.
Have you seen that it's become like really popular over the last 10 years in Japan? Or?
Yes. Japanese people are more aware about the International Day of Yoga.
Yeah. Should we do an asana together?
Yes, sure. We will do Korikona asana together.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah, we can.
Right. Yes. Open your chest.
I'm not sure if it feels good or if it's painful. I think that means I'm doing it right.
Okay.
Oh.
Bring the arm to the head and bring the hand Just nearby your ear. Slowly raise up your head. Yeah. Oh, very nice.
This was quite fun. I think this is my best yoga day so far. That marks the end of the yoga session in central Delhi's Karthavya Path area. Let's take a look at how International Yoga Day was celebrated across the world.
In Dubai, people take part in a yoga session at a floating hotel called Queen Elizabeth, as the only floating hotel in Dubai celebrates International Yoga Day. Hundreds of people gather as Malaysia participates in the International Day of Yoga with an event at the Batu Caves.
The importance of yoga is well known. It is not only good for the well-being of individuals at all levels, be it physical, mental and spiritual, but also helps to allow them to lead a very calming lives in their own lifetime.
As yoga becomes popular around the world, people from many different countries are interested to come to India to deepen their knowledge of yoga. Let's take a look at some of the top destinations in India for yoga.
Rishikesh tops the list as the city is known as the yoga capital of the world. It is home to countless schools, ashrams and institutes, and certifying yoga teachers is a big business in Rishikesh. How about a yoga session facing the sunset on a beach? Goa can deliver amazing experiences for beach lovers who like the laid-back vibe of this coastal paradise. Mysore is known as the birthplace of modern yoga and a must-visit for yoga enthusiasts. The city is also the birthplace of Ashtanga Yoga, and the popular Ashtanga Yoga Institute in Mysore draws in yoga practitioners from all over the world. A top list of Indian destinations for yogis would be incomplete without mentioning Pune, where BKS Iyengar lived. Iyengar was named one of the most influential people in the world, and his yoga centers have now spread to over 100 spots around the world. To complete the list with something for everyone, we recommend Dharamshala for those who prefer a mountainous destination. This city is also the home of the Dalai Lama and many yoga centers in a hill station surrounded by pine trees and Himalayan air.
Moving on to France now, where the 8th edition of the French Armada took place this month. This festival brought in sailboats and warships from around the world to the heart of Normandy, promoting maritime culture.
France is a top tourist favorite when it comes to most things iconic, with its mouth-watering cuisine, landmark monuments, and enchanting artistic legacy. France is truly a cultural spectacle to behold, and one such spectacular event was recently organized in Rouen, a quaint city situated on the River Seine. The 2023 Rouen Armada was held along the banks of the scenic Seine this month. This was the 8th edition of the Armada, an international gathering of sailing ships and warships, one of the world's biggest gathering of tall ships. Travelers flocked from across the globe to witness this grand and colorful event that hosted 45 ships, 14 promenade boats, restaurants from over 30 countries, and more than 5,000 sailors. The event is held every 4 years and brings in ships from around the world that are moored on the Seine quay for 10 days, bringing in an estimated 50 million euros for the Normandy region. For the tourists who come to the Armada, it's an exceptional experience.
More than motorboats, yachts, cruise liners, and all that, sailing boats are much better.
I find it hard to imagine that these boats come from so far away, crossing the Atlantic to get here. Watching them go up the Seine is quite magical.
Crowds saw some of the world's tallest and most majestic ships in awe as they sailed up the Seine River from Le Havre. It was again a fascinating view when the ships sailed back to Le Havre together in the Le Grand Parade, or the Big Parade. The tourists also enjoyed a host of other activities. Some of these ships belonged to the former navies that allowed tourists to visit and learn more about them in the company of an experienced crew member.
What's really impressive is to see these boats that have traveled through history. We have seen them in films sometimes, and now we can see them for real and even board them.
Moving on to this week's country in focus this week, which is Peru. This South American nation is home to Machu Picchu, one of the new 7 wonders of the world. Let's explore this country's vibrant culture and heritage.
Peru is a tourist paradise, a cultural gem on South America's western coast. The country is full of picturesque monuments from a historically rich past. Machu Picchu is one of the 7 wonders of the world and undoubtedly the most popular site in the country. The ancient citadel northwest of Cusco in Peru put the country on the world map of tourism and adventure experiences. Machu Picchu is believed to have been a royal estate or sacred religious site for the leaders of the Inca Empire. Another captivating Peruvian feature are Nazca lines, a collection of ancient geoglyphs which is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. They were created by the ancient Nazca culture in South America at least 15 centuries ago. The Nazca lines depict living creatures, stylized plants, and imaginary beings, and these lines remain a mystery to researchers. Let's look at the most recent Peruvian stories on culture, customs, and heritage. Lima, Peru's scenic and serene capital, boasts a rich historical legacy. Earlier this month, archaeologists unearthed a 3,000 years old mummy near the Peruvian capital. The astonishing discovery was made at the Huaca La Florida archaeological site in central Rímac Valley. During their excavations here, researchers initially encountered the remains of the mummy's hair and skull, and eventually the rest of the mummy. A host of other fascinating objects, such as bottlenecks, corn, coca leaves, and seeds, were also found buried alongside the body. Experts believe the mummy belongs to the Machu culture and may have been a part of some ritual offering.
The mummification process was carried out on the insides of the body. The person was offered up for sacrifice, which happened in the last phase of the construction of this temple. It most probably belongs to the Manche culture that developed in the valley of Lima between 1500 and 1000 BCE. They are associated with the culture of the U-shaped temples.
Some 1,000 kilometers southeast of Lima, hundreds of Peruvians climbed up the slopes of a sacred mountain as part of the unique festival of Kyoloriti. Devotees undertook a daunting trek on the slopes of Mount Sinacara to pray to the Lord of Kyoloriti, the Lord of the Star Snow.
We, the Pablitos, are the children of those perpetual snows. We come every year to reaffirm our faith and what we are, which is represented by water, because water is the beginning of everything. Water is what gives us life.
The festival dates back to the 18th century and begins on the Day of the Holy Trinity. The main ceremony of this symbolic festival is held at the foot of the snow-capped mountain of Ausangate, from where worshippers used to return to their communities, carrying large blocks of ice to symbolically irrigate their lands with the sacred frozen water. In 2011, the revered festival earned a UNESCO inscription on the Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity list. In June every year, communities in the Cusco region come together to renovate the historic Hueshuachaca rope bridge. The bridge, which sits 29 meters above the river below, is being restored by over 1,000 people from different communities. The ropes of this unique bridge are woven out of fiber extracted from koya plants. A special ritual also observed in this process involves a shaman sacrificing a lamb as payment to the gods of the earth and mountains that no accident occurs during the bridge's reconstruction.
If we abandon this ancient tradition would be lost, and also there would be no income for the district of Kewe and for the people themselves. The bridge in a way is a source of income for us.
This iconic bridge is inscribed in UNESCO's representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. As the last of its kind, it is a testament to the ancient Inca knowledge.
Moving on, let's take a look at Indonesia, where ecotourism is helping preserve Jakarta's mangrove cover. As the city sinks at an alarming rate, mangroves can help protect the city from a rising tide.
From the scenic beaches of Bali, the thrilling Komodo Island, to the magnificent Borobudur and Prambanan temples, Indonesia is one of the world's favorite tourist destinations. Especially breathtaking are the natural wonders in the country, ranging from spectacular volcanoes, dense jungles, picturesque lakes, exquisite coral gardens, and its ecologically significant vast mangrove cover. In the capital city of Jakarta, flooding and excessive groundwater extraction are causing the city to sink by more than 15 centimeters a year. This is where mangroves come to the rescue. They have been the main defense against now rapidly rising tides. Due to this peatland's crucial role, both the government authorities and the ecotourism industry work on conservation. This is the Angge Kapuk Nature Reserve Park, a 98-hectare mangrove forest along the northern coast of Jakarta, where tourists are doing their bit to save the city and the forest. Tour groups are now planting mangrove sprouts and kayaking through mangrove forests. A sign that public appreciation for these wetlands is growing.
Taman wisata itu statusnya masih kawasan konservasi.
In Jakarta, one of the biggest oxygen producers are the urban forests and mangrove forests in the coast. When you visit this conservation area tourist park, you learn its relevance and what we can do to preserve and nurture the forests.
Kawasan tersebut supaya nantinya
Indonesia has an impressive 4.1 million hectares of mangrove cover. But around 700,000 hectares have fallen to deforestation in the last year alone. Mangrove ecotourism is catching on as more people realize the importance of preserving them and wish to play a role in conserving Jakarta's mangroves.
Mangroves are unique in terms of the ecosystem. This is a unique plant. We want the air we breathe to be clean, the water we use to be good. This is why we organize our trips to the mangrove park.
And now it's time for the latest updates from the world of travel, tourism, aviation, and the best experiences. Take a look at our news deck.
The mesmerizing Sea of Mirrors digital exhibition engulfs the residents of Rio de Janeiro in a breathtaking fusion of nature and the cosmos, all reflected through a multitude of mirrors. By harnessing the power of digital technology projected onto panoramic screens and mirrors, this exhibition pays a tribute to the wonders of the sea. Visitors are transported to marvel at a stunning array of marine life, including vibrant fish, graceful jellyfish, intricate corals, and even celestial sights like the Milky Way, glaciers, and captivating sunsets. During the opening day of the Paris Air Show, Indigo announced an order of 500 Airbus narrow-body jets. This landmark deal exceeds any previous aircraft order in terms of sheer quantity and surpasses a rival agreement made by Air India. Not to be outdone, Air India continued to captivate attention on Tuesday with its own remarkable achievement. An astounding order for 470 planes from both Airbus and Boeing. Indigo and Air India have demonstrated their commitment to securing a significant market share of the aviation market, with combined orders nearing the impressive milestone of 1,000 planes. Anticipating a surge in domestic flight demand driven by India's thriving economy and the expanding middle class, both airlines are strategically positioning themselves for success. The Danish skies could not get more colorful. Last week, the Kite Flyers meeting, one of the world's largest kite festivals, opened on the serene beaches of Fanø Island, located on Denmark's western coast. With beautiful butterflies and colorful stingrays dotting the sky, the festival boasted innumerable vibrant and innovative kite creations. Some of these were so huge that they even covered patches of the sky. This year, the festival attracted around 5,000 people and a staggering 20,000 kites that danced in the steady North Sea breeze. The 2003 edition of the festival invited 25 kite master builders from China, widely regarded as the birthplace of kites. However, right from the US, Spain and France to China and New Zealand, a generation of kite builders from across the globe have been visiting the area since their youth, following their passion for kites.
That's all we have for you in this week's episode of the show. But check out next weekend's episode as well. For now, it's me, Johan Castell, signing off. See you next time.